Next up on the Cosmic News Network, First Contact with Joshua Pert.
Hello Earthlings, how you doing today? Welcome back to First Contact Radio. Today is the 13th of October 2016. It is the 7-year anniversary for First Contact Radio. The show began October 13th, 2009, and it's been going now 1,550 shows as of today. So today begins year number 8. Thank you to all of you who have participated in the show through your emails, through your various contacts, through watching the show. I really, really appreciate it very much, and I will continue to be moving forward over the course of this year and on into 2017. So let's jump forward. I'm on the road at the moment, in a makeshift studio here, so if I have a few glitches today, bear with me. Other than that, let's move forward. So today, what we have here is the 13th of October. Our sun sign is in Libra, and our moon sign is in Pisces. Libra is an air sign, represented in the tarot card of Justice, all about finding some sort of karmic balance, and that seems what we're doing in life, looking to find some sort of balance with everything that is taking place. The moon sign presently is in Pisces, a water sign, water dealing with emotions, feelings. Pisces is the astrological sign of the fish that swim in opposite directions. When the emotions get pushed, we can go one way, we can go the other way, depending on how those emotional buttons are pushed. So we need to learn to be able to control those by putting on our armor to protect us from all of those emotions. Now, some of the aspects we're looking at as we get into the rest of this day is we have a square coming up between Mercury communication and Mars. So Mars wants to energize everything, charge things up with a sense of energy. So we need to learn the lesson of the words that we speak. Maybe be careful with anger. There's a lot of opportunity for anger, especially once our emotional buttons gets pushed, because those emotions get in. We get angry, we say things, later we regret them, we really don't mean what we say. As we get into the evening, 8:28 p.m., we have a conjunction between Pisces and Chiron. Chiron is that aspect of ourselves that needs to be healed. So it's telling us, if we look at our emotions and our emotional body, there we can find that place where we need to heal that which is within us that needs to be healed. On the Jewish calendar, today is the 11th of Tishri. We've just come out of Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement or at One-ment, where we find our oneness with the Creator. Not long before this, 10 days prior to that, as you can see here, we were at Rosh Hashanah, the beginning of the new year. Rosh Hashanah, where we start everything off. We think about the lessons of Adam and Eve as we move forward, the beginning of creation according to the Genesis story, and that brought us all the way up to Yom Kippur. From Yom Kippur on, we now are going to go 5 days to Sukkot, which is the remembrance of the time of Moses and the journey through the desert with the Israelites. So now that we are into this new phase, a new beginning, if you will, it's time to really look at the opportunities we have before us as we are making our way along the rest of 2016. Actually, on the Jewish calendar, it is not 2016, but 5777. I want you to remember these three numbers, 777, because we see them quite a bit. They often have some sort of positive significance to them. And so no doubt they will have some sort of positive significance in our life. And finally, looking at the space weather, Solar wind today is at 434.1 kilometers per second. Our planetary K-index is storming at the moment. Six storm, probably going to be here over the next 24 hours. So if the energy feels like it's intense out there around us, it definitely is. It is storming as we speak. Solar wind coming from coronal holes, opening up in the bottom of the sun and some in the very top of the sun. It says about the 15th we should be feeling the effect of that. M-class flare possibility and X-class flare possibility both at 1%. And geomagnetic storm activity in the mid-latitudes looks like it is slightly decreasing from an active perspective, but in the minor range it is increasing from 10 to 25%. In the high latitudes it looks like it's remaining pretty stable, 15%, 20%, and so on. So there you have it. That's what we're dealing with today. That's our cosmic weather today. Cosmic weather, for all of you who are new to the show, is looking at the energy around us. We live within this field of energy, a field of energy which moves between the earthly plane and the ionosphere, the dome above us, in which all of this energy bounces back and forth. Energy that comes from a variety of sources. First of all, from nature, from fire, the water, the air, and earth, the sun, the moon, planets, the stars, the wind. Everything is affecting us that way. And then you throw into the mix all of the different energies that come from the thoughts that people have on a daily basis. We're electromagnetic beings. As we think, our thoughts go out from us, our energies go out from us, and they mix in this sea of energy. So it's very important that we look on a daily basis at what this energy is. What is the weather that we're dealing with? It's not always the physical weather that we might see of rain or sunshine, but it might be something more subtle, as we see here with the solar wind. It is affecting us. We're being affected by the storm that's all around us, though we may not see it. Our subtle energy, our subtle bodies will feel that energy. So there you go. That is our cosmic weather for today. That brings us to UFO news. Here we go.
This is the UFO News with Joshua Poet.
All right, Dirk, thank you very much. Today's UFO News, I have 3 stories for us. Story number 1 takes us back to the year 1955. This day in history, United States Senator Richard Russell sees a UFO while in Russia. UFO while in Russia. Let's take a look at what this is all about. He said on this day in history, Senator Richard Russell in 1955 personally witnessed a UFO in Russian territory, which could be a sign that Russian government and aliens have been working in agreement with one another. Russia knows about the secret Apollo 18, 19, 20 missions, not because they stole the documents, but because Russia and USA had a joint recovery mission to deport the crater, where they found 2 spacesuits that they explored and brought back some technology and a living UFO in a coma-like state. The report states that one of the most powerful UFO senators in modern history actually eyewitnessed 2 UFOs while on a fact-finding trip through Russia in 1955, and the U.S. government kept the sightings a secret for more than 3 decades. The incredible encounter is detailed in 12 top-secret CIA, FBI, and Air Force reports declassified in 1985. Those startling reports reveal that Senator Richard B. Russell, Jr., Democrat from Georgia, then chairman of the Armed Services Committee, was on a Soviet train when he spotted a disc-shaped craft taking off near the tracks. He hurriedly called his military aide and interpreter to the window, and they saw the UFO, plus another one that appeared a minute later. The astonished trio reported the sightings to the U.S. Air Force as soon as they were out of Russia. The Air Force intelligence report says that Russell and his 2 traveling companions spotted the UFOs on October 4, 1955, while traveling by rail across Russia's Transcaucasus region. One disc ascended almost vertically at a relatively slow speed, with its outer surface revolving slowly to the right to an altitude of about 6,000 feet, where its speed then increased sharply as it headed north. The report states the second flyby disc was seen performing the same actions about 1 minute later. The takeoff area was about 1 to 2 miles south of the rail line. The 3 observers were firmly convinced that they had saw a genuine flying disc, says an Air Force intelligence report dated October 14, 1955. and classified top secret at the time. Senator Russell served 38 years in the Senate. He was its senior and one of its most influential senators at the time of his death in 1971. He was chairman of the Armed Services Committee from 1951 through 1969 and unsuccessfully sought the Democratic presidential nomination in 1952. The mind-boggling documents detailing his UFO encounter were made available by the Fund for UFO Research and its chairman, Dr. Bruce McAfee. Several key documents were obtained by the group through the Freedom of Information Act. These long, secret documents are of major importance because they show for the first time that one of the most powerful U.S. senators witnessed and reported a UFO, said Dr. McAfee. Russell saw the first flying disc ascend and pass over the train and went rushing in to get Mr. Efron and Colonel Hathaway to see it. The report said Colonel Hathaway stated that he got to the window with the senator in time to see the first UFO, while Mr. Efron said that he got only a short glimpse of the first. However, all three saw the second disc and all agreed that they saw the same round disc-shaped craft at the first. The Air Force report was written by Lieutenant Colonel Ryan, who interviewed Senator Russell's companion in Prague, Czechoslovakia on October 13 after they arrived from Russia shortly after the sighting. There's more to the story. I'm going to leave that from you. I'm going to move on here. Here we have a sighting in Lake Superior, Michigan this month. Amazing video footage recorded of a UFO rising from Lake Superior in Michigan. Saturday evening, far off the coast from Marquette, Michigan, appeared this mysterious ship that had to be gigantic, almost as if it was a ghost ship, showing itself to the world, even if it was a ship that could be that tall in these choppy waves. You see it right there in the distance. Okay. Very interesting indeed, coming out of Lake Superior. So what do you think that is? Link will be available for you to check it out. And finally, one last piece here. You've heard about all the WikiLeaks documents. Well, inside WikiLeaks, there has been mentioned Roswell. Newly leaked emails show Blink-192, former co-lead vocalist, was in recent contact with John Podesta about UFOs. Tom DeLonge sent emails to Hillary Clinton's campaign chairman John Podesta at least twice. He wrote about their mutual interest in more government disclosure about the UFO phenomena and possibly involved extraterrestrials. WikiLeaks, which recently released the emails this month, also reveals that Mr. Podesta participated in a documentary produced by Mr. DeLonge. However, it was not established whether Mr. Podesta replied to the messages. Mr. Podesta worked at the highest levels of government during the administration of Bill Clinton and Barack Obama. When Mr. Podesta left the Obama administration in 2015, he stated that the biggest failure was not securing the disclosure of the UFO files. He has long expressed interest in the subject and advocated more government disclosure on classified files. Mr. DeLonge writes in his email in 2015 that he would introduce Mr. Podesta to two people involved in their sensitive topic. Mr. DeLonge thinks that Mr. Podesta would find the two very important people interesting, as both were in charge of the most fragile divisions handling DoD issues and classified science. Mr. DeLonge describes them as A-level officials. WikiLeaks also published another email from DeLonge in 2016 about former military official who was in charge of all that stuff. The email reveals that the ex-military official and his men shipped the crashed UFO to Roswell, to the laboratory at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. General McClaster was in charge of the lab for many years, according to the email. Mr. DeLonge is yet to reply for a request for comment. And there you go. There is our UFO news for today. Some of the other things that have come up over the last couple weeks in this WikiLeaks has been discussions about Nibiru. So you might want to do a Google search on that. I'll see if I can find that link and post that for you as well up at firstcontactradio.com. But I think it's very important that we are seeing some confirmation in this, because in light of what is going on with the WikiLeaks documents, we do have at times they are trying to deny that these things are real, yet we do find confirmation in these documents right here. So if these are correct, then it's a good possibility that the others might be correct as well. Something to just keep in mind as we are going forward and looking at all this information. So there you have it. That's our UFO news from today. Stay tuned. I'll be back.
What if our government was responsible for some of the greatest crimes against this nation? Would you really want to know? These are big questions, but these questions deserve answers. It's time to demand the truth.
People should not be afraid of their governments. Governments should be afraid.
9/11 was an inside job. Kennedy was killed by the CIA. Jimmy Carter saw a UFO. Answers to secrets you need to know. So wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up.
Alright, let me continue on here because I got a lot I want to get to today. So over the last couple weeks, since I've been on, a lot has gone on. We've had the debate which took place, the political debate, Trump and Clinton. In my opinion, and I think the opinion of many who watched it, Donald Trump pretty much kicked butt in that. He went out there, he did what he needed to do, and he hit on some pretty hard issues. Now there seems to be some fallout from that. The Clinton campaign is really making an effort to try to spin all that occurred. However, they are not having as much success as you would like them. They'd like you to believe, and that is the challenge. The mainstream media, as we're finding out in the WikiLeaks docs, is really in collusion with the Democratic Party, so the people are not really getting the information. If you want to get the information of what's really going on out there, the best place to do it is through the social networks, Twitter, through Facebook. The reason being is that individuals, American citizens, are finding out information and they're spreading it and sharing it with others through these networks. WikiLeaks is sharing their information through these various networks. Anonymous is sharing their information through these networks. Project Veritas is sharing their information through these different channels. So some of the things that are going on out there in these WikiLeaks docs and all of these things that are being releases, we've got the attack on the Catholic Church by the Clinton camp. Now they're trying to backpedal on what they said about it, but there's no surprise there, because what we've come to understand about Hillary over time is she is a Satanist. She does participate in these different rituals and has for a number of years, going back and forth through Washington. We have Larry Nichols, who has spoken of this very extensively. You can find his videos up on YouTube if you just search his name, Larry Nichols. We've also found out a lot about the collusion that's been going on between the media. Okay, not only the collusion with CNN, the Clinton News Network, but also with MSNBC. No surprise there. But Fox News is a surprise, because a lot of people think of Fox News as a very conservative organization. However, we understand that Rupert Murdoch, if you remember the story from not too long ago, Rupert Murdoch put together a team over there that was going to take down Trump. Megyn Kelly, Bret Baier, Chris Wallace, who is going to be a moderator at this upcoming debate. So we have a lot of collusion. It makes it really difficult to understand what's going on. People want to trust the media. But if you think about it, and I've said this before and I'll say it again right now, the media is like a bunch of sheepdog. Okay? Their job is to round up the people, or the sheeple. They're to round them up and guide them to the same pen. The dogs all look different. Fox News dog looks different than the sheepdog of MSNBC or CNN or ABC, but I can guarantee you, despite the fact that they have a different sounding bark, they may have a different colored fur, and maybe a different type of dog, they are all guarding and guiding everybody to the same location, to the same pen, or many times to the same slaughterhouse. They just have their own ways to go about doing it. Okay? Some of the collusion that we find out in these different emails that are coming out, these WikiLeaks, are showing this collusion. When you come to understand that, you understand a little bit more about the depth of problems. We're also finding out more about the cover-ups that are going on with the FBI. The collusion there, James Comey's connection to the Clinton Foundation, his brother's connection to the Clinton Foundation. We're finding out about more scandals about Hillary, how Hillary has really made a point of hating Americans, and how this is talked about in these emails, specifically the emails that have come out with Podesta. We have the discussions about calling the Democrats lazy, you know, criticizing them. So not only is Hillary criticizing the Republicans, but she's criticizing her own party as well. Why? Because if we listen to some of the audio that has come out about some of her events that she does in private she has been dismissing her very own people. She has said that she is not in touch, she's out of touch because she has so much money, money that suspiciously she gained while in public office. And the question, comes to mind, how did this woman get so much money while she was in public office, when in public office there's a limited amount of money you get? It's because she's been cheating. She's been scandalous. She's been stealing money. Haiti is a prime example of what went on, where they went in, that they took their money from them, and then they pretty much screwed those people over. On the debates, if you saw the debates, you heard Donald Trump really call out Bill Clinton and the women that were raped by Bill Clinton. As a matter of fact, they were all there at the debates. You can find images of Bill Clinton, the look on his face. It's kind of surprised to see them there, as would be expected, and pretty good. You see, kind of had the meltdown of what was going on. Hillary's response when this occurred was to belittle them. There are those in the media who are trying to belittle these women. Nonetheless, these women went through a horrific set of circumstances, and I can pretty much assure you that there is not a woman in America that would want to go through one of these type of situations that these women did. So if you're a woman in this country and you are calling them names because you're a Democrat and you don't want to know the real truth, then the problem lies with you. If you're a woman, I can guarantee you don't want anything horrific to happen to you. I don't want anything horrific to happen to you. And then I can assure you Donald Trump doesn't want anything to happen to you, which is why he's bringing this information out. But Hillary Clinton doesn't care. She doesn't care if this happens to you, because it was happening to victims of her husband, and all she did was call them names, belittle them, and she's still continuing to do the same thing. One of the other women that was there at the debate was the woman who was 12 years old at one point in time, was raped, and the rapist was defended by Hillary Clinton. Not only did Hillary defend the rapist, but the rapist only spent 2 months in jail. Audio tape can be found of Hillary Clinton laughing about how she got this man off with only 2 months in jail. Horrific circumstance. Nobody should go through that. It ruined this woman's life. She can't have children. She really was messed up from the whole scenario that occurred. And any woman who feels that this is right really needs to check themselves to understand why you would subscribe to such horrific behavior happening to another female. Okay? Hillary says she's for the women. She's not for the women. She will say anything indeed to get elected. That woman is absolutely despicable. And of course, during the debate, you saw the fly land on her. Well, we all know where flies usually land. Okay? Flies usually land on feces. Okay? During the course of the debate, the fly landed right up on Hillary's eyebrow. The same thing we saw with Barack Obama, fly landing upon him on multiple occasions. Okay? We can look up the references to flies and see their relations in some stories to demons, to Beelzebub. So something there very bizarre indeed. Project Veritas also has come out with some information, undercover information, where they have released and revealed DNC corruption. Election commissioners acknowledging the corruption of the DNC, of how they're driving people around from one location to the other so they can go vote, of how they are really scandalous in their activities and their behaviors. Voter fraud. We hear staffers for Hillary Clinton using all kind of language about the ways in which they grope and abuse women, and yet would not get any sort of repercussions from that because the Democratic Party doesn't care. And then of course you find out about additional voter fraud, where you see some of the tapes show individuals claiming proudly how they are destroying ballots and information that Republicans are putting in. And the person who said this was undercover The person for the DNC didn't care, just wasn't going to do anything about it, and then when confronted, ran away from the situation. So we got a lot of real problems. During the debate, you might have seen Donald Trump marching around on the stage. That's taking control of the stage, taking control like a tiger ready to pounce, like a fighter that was marching, dancing around his opponent. Okay, he was there to do the job he needed to do, and I thought he did an excellent job, and there's a lot of others who thought he did an excellent job as well. So, my friends, what we need to do is we really need to pay attention. We've got a little less than 4 weeks to go, 28 days, 27 days till the election. Donald's going to be getting hit hard, okay? He's going to be getting hit hard by the DNC and by the media because they know that if he gets in, their days are numbered because they're so corrupt. But whatever happens with this election, we've already seen how corrupt the media is, so they have to know that their days are numbered anyway. People aren't going to trust what they're about. But if Hillary gets in, she wants to get rid of alternative media. She wants to get rid of anything that would speak ill of what she's about. In terms of WikiLeaks, all they keep doing is blaming the Russians. Well, that's not very wise, okay? Because if Russia did not do this, then for our president and for Hillary and the DNC to continue to blame them for doing that, all it's going to do is make them angry. And I don't think we want to make another enemy out there in the world when we should be making an ally. And then, of course, you can go and you can find information Vladimir Putin talking about how silly us Westerners are because we don't realize how manipulated we have been. And because of that situation, there is a real dire situation. We're on the brink of a world war, World War III, because as Putin was expressing it, he says, us Westerners don't realize how our officials in government have not only created ISIS by their bad decision making, but how they have funded them and armed them. And we have these groups which are actually fighting and hurting out not only Russia, but allies of Russia. So we have some real problems out there, okay? The American people are being lied to. The question is, how long are you going to allow yourself to be lied to? The reason they continue to lie to you is they want to discourage you from voting, discourage you from going into that booth because you'll say, oh, Donald Trump's already lost. Look at all the polls. But what's been discovered in these WikiLeaks has shown that these polls are being manipulated. The organization that is doing polling is an organization that has worked for Hillary Clinton, that has worked for Bill Clinton. They are in collusion and extremely biased. So the polls that you're seeing are false, fake polls. The most honest polls that are out there are these quick snap polls that are occurring on Twitter, on Facebook, on the various sites after the debates. And in every one of those polls that is not manipulated, Donald Trump is winning by a landslide. That's what they don't want you to know, so they're not telling you about those things. All of these stories that I talked about, you can all go read about and find. I've been putting out on my Twitter feed, First Contact Now. I've been putting up on my Facebook page. You can go there and you can check out all of these stories, okay? And I would recommend that you go there and check these out. Here's a story, a current one here. This may or may not be true, looking for confirmation of this here, but here's what is showing a accounts payable, and on this list we have Glenn Beck receiving $109,000. We have Black Lives Matter. Okay, we have people associated, Evan McMullen associated with Romney. We have Sharia Law Center. We have this Tony Resco, who was in jail, who's now released from jail, who was claiming and doing some illegal activities with Obama. Okay, here we have the story of Donna Brazil and her collusion, providing questions to her candidates ahead of time, cheating. Okay, we can go on and on and on. We got all kind of stories here for you to see. Hillary, pathological liar, video compilation there. Okay, you go to the Facebook feed here. We got some of these same stories that are up here. Okay, so what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to, to go over there. Sign up to follow First Contact Radio at Twitter. It's First Contact Now is the Twitter feed. Go ahead and follow. I'll follow you back. That way you can get the information, and as you send information out there, I'll be able to get it as well. That's the beauty of what's going on with these social networks. It's a way that we're able to communicate with ourselves and step past the control that the mainstream has upon people. Remember, this is about the people. November 8th, people are going to have a chance to go vote. No one can stop that. Okay? No one can stop you from getting to that booth, unless, of course, they physically try to stop you. But no one's going to try to do that, and if they do, well, then that's another issue we're going to have to deal with. But the big situation is we're just going to have to get out there and we're going to have to vote for the person that we believe is the right man for the job, and I believe that is Donald Trump. I don't believe all the lies they're telling about him. I don't believe all that nonsense. You got John McCain, who was out there saying that Donald Trump has said all these things about women. You can easily go find John McCain spending a video, a minute and a half, cussing out a female reporter. You have another video of Barack Obama on the plane running around, showing off his, being perverted on the plane towards the stewardess, the flight attendants, the people there. You find all kind of perversion with these people. They're hypocrites to try to say that this is something unique to Donald. So they're going to keep throwing more. They're going to keep throwing more and bring back examples. 15 years ago, 30 years ago. Bill Clinton is a rapist. His wife defended him and then belittled the rape victims. Hillary Clinton defended a rapist and called the 12-year-old girl, said she was asking for it. If this was your daughter, you would be highly disgusted by this situation. If this woman, who continues to lie to the American people, is causing problems one after the other. She's a liar, a liar, a liar. And if people continue to believe her lies, then all I could say is people get what they deserve. And that, could be very upsetting to everybody in this country if we end up having someone like Hillary in the office. We don't need that. We don't want that. It's not a good thing for any of us at all. So we need to be wise, my friends. I've been wearing this hat, I told you, for the last couple months. And as I've been traveling around, I'm curious to know if people are going to respond to it or not. I see people wearing Hillary stuff. I see people wearing Bernie stuff. I don't care. It's just hats, it's just shirts, it's just bumper stickers. People have the right to express themselves. And for the most part, nobody has ever said a thing about this hat. I've had a few people whisper to me, tell me, great hat, give me a thumbs up, because I know that there's this silent majority that's out there that's going to vote for Donald but doesn't want to speak it outright. There's only been one person in this entire time that I've actually had any negative response from. And strangely enough, a millennial. Millennial was triggered by this hat. Absolutely went ballistic. Didn't like it. Called me a racist. Told me I needed to take the hat off. None of which happened. Hat didn't come off. And, it was just a crazy scenario. I hadn't experienced firsthand the triggering of a millennial. I heard about it. I talk a lot about it. I've showed you videos, but firsthand I hadn't experienced it until, about a couple days ago. And very bizarre. Very bizarre. And it's exactly what people have described as going on. And you have to wonder about the mindset that's going on with people out there, how they are being so affected by the lies they are being told. Okay? That's the problem. Those who are arguing against Trump are using the narrative that the mainstream media used a year ago. Obviously, people have not gone back to think for themselves and look past the sound bites, so they're just saying the same thing. Donald wants to ban everybody. Doesn't want to ban everybody, but that's all that they want. That's all that they remember. Donald does this, Donald does that. All the little sound bites that the media presented is what I hear people spouting. And that was in the scenario that I had dealing with this individual. That's the same thing that was going on there. They weren't going to hear a thing. They weren't interested in anything. As a matter of fact, he was acting like a bully. It was very surprising to see such behavior firsthand, but I guess it's to be expected because there's a lot of low, uninformed individuals who are just moving through this scenario and not really paying attention. And in the long run, people are going to be hurt by that because this group, these millennials that are growing up, they are the ones who are going to be dealing with the future of what happens during this election. So I hope people get with the program more, but I know that during the next couple weeks leading up to the 8th of November, we're going to have a big attack. You'll see it's going to continue on, continuing to attack. However, people are fighting back, and you can fight back as well. Use the social networks. Retweet things that come out. Join my Twitter feed, First Contact Now, and that way, as you see the messages coming out, retweet them, because I'm staying on top of what's out there, and I'm sure you are too. You're all doing your part. If you weren't, I wouldn't, you wouldn't be here, because I know that there's a particular flavor that comes from this show, and this isn't for everybody. And so if you're here, it's because, you're thinking somewhere along the same lines of where I am, okay? There's a lot of us out there thinking this way. We just have to be more vocal. We have to put ourselves out there, and we have to understand this is a fight for our country. Okay? So, there you have it. That's what's going on politically. And just be ready for the onslaught, and just keep the fight going. Keep going. Don't let anyone discourage you from what's taking place. Now, one of the things we need to do through all of this is we need to take care of our health. And part of taking care of our health is our sleeping. So I found this article, and I wanted to bring this to light because I thought this would be something very important here. Okay? 10 simple tips to get better sleep. 10 simple tips to get better sleep. And I think this is really important because if we don't get good sleep, then we aren't able to function as well as we could during the course of the day. This comes to us from Natural News. Most of us know that getting a good night's rest is important for our overall well-being. It is one of the key factors of a healthy lifestyle. Nonetheless, too few of us make those 7 to 8 hours between the sheets a priority. According to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, an estimated 50 to 70 million U.S. adults do not get enough quality sleep, and the number of people suffering from a sleeping disorder is rising by the day. If falling asleep or feeling rested in the morning sounds like an impossible dream to you, then these 10 helpful tips and tricks may be just the thing that you need. 1. Turn off night lights. Many people have a muted light in their bedroom to help them fall asleep or make it easier to find the bathroom in the middle of the night. However, sleeping with even a little bit of light has been shown to decrease melatonin secretion, which is a hormone that makes you sleepy. 2. Create a sleeping pattern. Your body loves a set rhythm or routine, therefore having a regular sleeping pattern is an excellent way to make sure your body gets plenty of quality sleeping time. Try to go to bed and wake up the same time every day. 3. Take a nap. While most people don't find it hard to maintain a sleeping pattern during the week, most of us like to sleep in or sleep late on the weekend. Research, however, has shown that even disrupting your sleeping pattern for 2 days can make you feel tired. Get moving. Regular exercise helps you relieve stress and relaxes muscles to improve sleep. Note that any form of exercise should be done at least 3 to 4 hours before hitting the sack. No phones before bed. Since we entered the era of technology, many of us don't seem to be able to disconnect from a screen when they sleep. Whether it's the screen on your mobile phone, laptop, or TV, these appliances will keep you awake much longer no matter how tired you are. Sleep assist apps. While you shouldn't check Facebook, your emails in bed, some applications on your phone actually help you get a better night's rest. Some of these apps will lull you to sleep through their calming music or sounds. 7. Avoid a carb-rich food and caffeine. While eating carbohydrates can make you feel tired and sleepy, research has shown that eating a significant amount of carbs before sleep makes you prone to a restless sleep or intermittent waking. Also, coffee or other caffeine-rich drinks can negatively disrupt your sleeping time. 8. Warm milk and honey. In combination of these, a spoonful of honey has been able to the go-to sleep remedy for centuries. While it may seem like just another natural home remedy, there may be a method to the madness. According to some scientific evidence, the combination of the warmth of the milk and the insulin spike from the honey will make you sleepy and calm. 9. Take a bath before bedtime. A hot bath 10 to 20 minutes before bed can relax the body and mind. You can make it even better by adding sleep and relaxation inducing essential oils such as lavender, chamomile, frankincense, marjoram, sage, valerian. And 10. Wake up with the sun. As mentioned above, light reduces melatonin, which wakes you up. Enjoy your morning coffee or tea with natural sunlight, the best way of call you can have after a good night rest. Okay, so these are very good things. One other thing that I like to do, you heard melatonin mentioned a couple times. You can go buy melatonin at the store. It comes in a bottle. You can get like a 3 grams, just 3, comes in 5. Just get a small melatonin and just take one of those before you go to bed. And it will help you to go into a nice, good dream state. I find that when I take a little melatonin tablet before I go to bed, I wake up very relaxed. And over the course of the night, I do have a lot of really great dreams. So it's something that is another thing that's very helpful. So it's very important that we're able to get a good night's sleep, because if you're getting a good night's sleep, we're able to be more effective in our waking life. Okay, so there you have it. So that brings us finally to the closing prayer meditation. I like to end every show this way because we live in a world where there's challenges and problems going on. These are challenges and problems of the physical reality. However, this physical reality is only a part of the whole picture. The whole picture involves a spiritual reality. And the way we connect with that spiritual reality is through meditation, through prayer, through focusing on the higher power that flows through us, that God power, that Christ light that shines through us. The problems we're having in the world these days, the things that we're seeing that are taking and causing the most disruption, is our stepping away from God. You could see it in politics, you could see it in all forms of life, and the more we step away from God, the more we have problems. Want to eliminate the problems? We have to not walk away from God, we have to get closer to God. Okay, so that brings us to our meditation for today. So go ahead and close your eyes. Take a deep breath. And exhale. Take another deep breath. And exhale again. Take another breath. And exhale. Now as you're continuing to breathe in and out, just contemplate this breath and the source of this breath. The source that comes from beyond this physical body, from beyond this physical existence. And as we contemplate the source of this breath, beyond this physical existence, we follow it to a divine source called God, Great Spirit, Divine Providence. And this source provides us with all the energy that we shall ever need in life, for we are all portions of this divine essence, drops of this divine essence. So imagine yourself filled with this essence that flows from an unseen source outward from the invisible realms, through that place deep inside of you, out into the world, into this reality. feel the source of this energy that emanates ever forward. Heavenly Mother, Heavenly Father, thank you for the blessings of your love and of your light that flows through us this day and all days. Thank you for the blessings of your love, the blessings of the Christ light that shines bright in our lives and allows us the opportunity to shine brighter and bring more of your goodness into the world. Let's just imagine ourselves going forth this day, allowing that light within us to shine. Let's imagine all of the darkness that is taking place in the world. And let's imagine walking into that darkness with that light shining bright from inside of us outward, illuminating the darkness, illuminating all that is holding us back that we might see. And let's just allow this to be the examples that we lead as we move through the world this day and all days. So let the subconscious mind continue on the journey, sending out light, sending out love, shining all of this positivity into the darkness. And let's bring the conscious mind back to the present moment on the count of 3. 3 coming back to the present moment filled with confidence. 2 coming back to the present moment filled with faith. And 1 coming back to the present moment happy, healthy, and whole. Happy, healthy, and whole. Take another deep breath. Exhale. And open your eyes. That's it, my friends. That's the show for today. Thank you so much for being here. Next time I do a show, I'll be back at the home studio in Los Angeles. So until then, just keep shining that light into the world, for it's what we need. And if we all shine the light right, we'll dissipate all of the darkness around us and all the darkness around all of those who are walking in confusion. Seems like it's more difficult than it is, but once we start shining the light, we find out it isn't that difficult at all. That's it, my friends, for today. Thank you again for being here on this 7th anniversary as I move forward now into the 8th year. I couldn't do this without you being here because you are the reason that I keep doing this. Without an audience, it's just me talking to myself. So I appreciate very much all of your attendance, your viewing, and everything else. Go to firstcontactradio.com. You'll find the links there. Go to my Twitter feed, First Contact Now. Go to the Facebook page, follow along, participate, and that's it. Till then, I love you. Keep loving each other, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace. I'm out of here.